Wow. Let me try. Alright. So, I was trying a different speed on the fan for you guys. I was going to try to do it in my room, but my husband came home early and he's taking a little nap. I'm kind of, ooh, so hot. It's 100 and something degrees, so I'm kind of I'm kind of not happy right this minute. So I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna continue reading these emails and talking to y'all for a little bit and see how that goes. So I had read a couple. They're down in my videos somewhere, and yeah. I just can't stop thinking about tomorrow. I can't imagine what's going to happen tomorrow. I can't imagine. I can say that the people that support Karen Reed are not violent, they're not ugly, they don't harm anyone, they wouldn't harm anyone. So there's no need to be worried about the Karen Reed supporters. But the McAlbert supporters, and isn't that sad? It's not even it's not John O'Keefe, Justice for John O'Keefe supporters. I mean, the trial was whether or not Karen Reed killed John O'Keefe. We all know that she didn't. But the trial was more about the McAlberts and trying to make them look less guilty of something. It was not about any evidence about Officer John O'Keefe being murdered. It was evidence that we got because of the FBI investigation that it was not Karen Reed, it was not a car. So we know that much, right? But I don't know. The trial should have been the McCabe's versus Karen Reed on whatever, because the McAlberts. The McAlberts are going to be the ones, when it's all said and done, they're just not going to let go. They're just not going to let it go. So, anyway, this one's pretty interesting, folks. This was February the 4th of 2022. February the 4th. To Detective Brian Tully. This one is from Nicholas Guarino. Whoopee. And his subject on this is cell phone extraction and forensic analysis of a cell phone belonging to John O'Keefe. Wow, it's got his date of birth. That could have been his mother. Okay. It's just amazing to me that the older I get, everybody's Okay. Here it is, man. This is big. It's big. On Saturday, January 29th, 2022, Trooper Michael Proctor and Sergeant Yuri Bukhenik of the Norfolk District Attorney's Office responded to an unattended death of John O'Keefe at 34 Fairview Road in Canton. Through his investigation, it was found that John O'Keefe was a victim of motor vehicle homicide. What evidence has been checked? What does he have so far? February the 4th. Proctor had already determined through his investigation I can even call it that. That John O'Keefe was a victim of a motor vehicle homicide. That says so much right there, right? So far, all they had was talking to people. While on the scene, Trooper Proctor secured O'Keefe's cell phone and brought it to Norfolk's DA office for forensic analysis. The evidence was given to me in good working order and transported to the Norfolk District Attorney's Office by Trooper Proctor. The evidence was provided to me as follows. 1. Apple iPhone 11 cell phone. To perform data extraction of this device, I used the following equipment. Gray Key, Celebrite Physical Analyzer, Windows 10. A copy of the cell phone extraction was placed on the server for future reference. This report is not inclusive of all potential data contained within this device. Any additional analysis will be documented in future reports. That, folks, is the end. Of Trooper Guarino's statement. What I find interesting is we have the date of the email, we have the date of the incident, but we don't have the date of when he was handing over the phone. Best of my knowledge here, because anyways. The other thing that I find interesting, y'all remember, I don't know if he tried to pull that in court or if it was a pre-motion statement or what, when Lowley tried saying, or tried disputing Apple Health as to not being accurate, because after John O'Keefe died, and then he numbers out all these steps during these times. Well, your cell phone, sir, doesn't know when you're in somebody else's pocket. So it didn't know. The cell phone didn't know that it wasn't John O'Keefe moving. So yeah, his Apple Health data kept recording while it was in Trooper Proctor's pocket, thrown on the floor and handed around to all his friends, I'm sure. So that solved that issue. Okay, so moving on, we have February the 7th of 2022. We've got an email from Lieutenant Brian Tully. Oh, 4. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't do this when I'm not in a whoopee-doo mood, right? Detective Lieutenant Brian Tully from Sergeant Yearly, what a name, Yearly Bukhenik. This subject is Ryan Nagel. On January 29th, 2022, at approximately 6:04 a.m., Canton Police Department received a 911 call from a woman reporting a male party, John O'Keefe, found in the snow at 34 Fairview Road. At the time of the 911 call, there was heavy snow and temperatures was in the teens. Officers Serafs and Mulaney were dispatched to the scene along with Canton Fire and EMS. Officer Seraf arrived on the scene and observed 3 females waving at him. Looking at 34 Fairview from the roadway, the 3 females were in the left corner of the property. Officer Seraf observed the victim lying on the ground as 2 of the females were performing CPR. The 3 females on the scene were identified by Canton PD as Karen Reed, Jennifer McCabe, and Carrie Roberts. Additionally, a male party was identified as being in the area the night prior and possibly could have witnessed the victim arriving in the area of 34 Fairview. The said male was identified as Ryan Nagel, who was contacted by his sister Julie Nagel asking for a ride home while visiting with her friend Brian Albert at 34 Fairview. Ryan came into the Norfolk District's Attorney's Office for a pre-scheduled interview on Monday, February the 7th, 2022. The following is a summary of the information requested and provided by Ryan during the interview with Trooper Proctor and me. Ryan confirmed that he was contacted by Julie requesting a ride home. At the time, Ryan was with his friend Richie Richie A., who was driving his gray in-color Ford F-150 pickup truck with Ryan seated in the front passenger seat and Ryan's girlfriend Heather Maxon seated in the back passenger compartment. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. Ryan recalls Richie driving down Cedar Crest Road from the direction of the Kennedy Elementary School as the F-150 approached Fairview. Ryan remembers seeing a set of headlights of a mid-sized black SUV coming from the opposite direction of Cedar Crest. Subsequently, Richie yielded to the vehicle, allowing it to make a right-hand turn onto Fairview as their F-150 then followed, making a left-hand turn onto Fairview. Ryan told us that Richie stopped the F-150 directly in front of the driveway. How many vehicles can be directly in front of the driveway? They moved a lot, I guess. Let's see. Sorry, guys, I lost my place. Okay, sorry. Ryan told us that Richie stopped the F-150 directly in front of the driveway belonging to 34 Fairview and remembers the black SUV stopping along the right-hand curb towards the left side of the property as you look at the home from the street. When asked, Ryan stated he did not observe any erratic operation by the SUV as it turned from Cedar Crest onto Fairview or at any point while in his presence. So, you know, the Commonwealth is trying to say she had this blood alcohol out the roof, right? But she was driving just fine in the snow. Okay. Ryan went on to say that their F-150 remained in front of the home for a period of time that was no longer than 5 minutes, at which time his sister Julie came out of the house and asked if the three of them would like to come inside. Ryan refused the invite, and Julie stated that she wanted to stay a while longer and would most likely spend the night at 34 Fairview. So Julie Nagel was actually planning on spending the night. Upon conclusion of their conversation, Julie retreated back into the home, and Ryan noticed that the SUV pulled up a few feet to the far edge of the property line between 34 and the neighboring property where the flagpole was located, along with some bushes. Ryan stated that the SUV's driver did not appear to place the vehicle into park, as rear brake lights were illuminated to include the third top center light at the initial positioning after it had pulled up. Trooper Proctor asked Ryan if at any point he heard screams, yelling, or any noise coming from the black SUV while he was on Fairview, to which he stated no. Ryan added that as Richie pulled away from 34 Fairview, their F-150 drove past the black SUV, at which time Ryan observed the interior light on and a Caucasian female operator seated inside the vehicle holding the steering wheel at the 10 and 2 looking straight ahead of her. Ryan told us he did not see anyone else inside the passenger compartment during his brief observation of the SUV as they drove by it. Ryan did not see the SUV leave and did not note any damage to the vehicle as he remembers. When asked, Ryan stated that it had just started snowing approximately half an hour prior and there was a coating of snow on the ground. While present in the area of Cedar Crest and Fairview, Ryan did not see any other vehicles operating besides the F-150 and the black SUV. Without having anything further to provide about the evening, Trooper Proctor and I concluded our interview with Ryan. So they did the interview with Ryan, Proctor, and Bukhenik is the one that submitted the report, and he's the one who said Proctor said, or Proctor asked, whatever. Oh, goodness. How long is this one? I'm trying to go in order. Alright, so hopefully that didn't bore y'all too much. I don't recall anybody ever saying in court that Julie Nagel had planned on spending the night, because, you know, it's kind of like the daughter that had planned on staying the night, although she says she didn't. But who else is going to go over there in that weather and expect the boyfriend who needs to go to sleep so he can get up and snowplow to come get her 2 hours after she gets there, 1 hour after she gets there? Anyway, so, okay, so Julie Nagel was planning on spending the night also, but she ended up going home, right? Because she was with Jennifer McCabe. Maybe I just missed that point. Okay. We are on to an email February 23rd. This is to Brian Tully from Bukhenik again, or Bukhenik, or Bukhenik. And this is Nicole Albert regarding the O'Keefe issue. Oh, wow. So this is written up or typed up. Well, I guess you can't prove when it was typed up because you can type it and send it whenever, but okay. The email was sent February 23rd. On February 3rd, at approximately 5:20 p.m., Trooper Proctor and I traveled to 34 Fairview Road in Canton for a pre-scheduled interview with Nicole Albert at her residence. Through our investigation into the death of John O'Keefe, Nicole had been identified as a witness present with a group of friends at the Waterfall Bar and Grill on January 28. Nicole is also the resident with her husband Brian, who invited some friends and family to come back at 34 Fairview in Canton following the bar closing for the night, and was a witness to events inside the home. The following is a summary of information requested and provided by Nicole during the interview with Trooper Proctor and me. But these people weren't witnesses to what happened inside the house, I guess. All right, ready? After being invited into the home by Nicole and her husband Brian, Trooper Proctor and I formally introduced ourselves and thanked them both for their time. Do you normally formally introduce yourself to somebody that you know so well? Seems to me that Trooper Proctor should have been the one that introduced Dimwit Bukhenik. Said, hey, y'all know me. This is my partner. This is whoever's hanging out with me or whatever. That's how it should have gone, right? I mean, isn't that what you would think if you knew somebody? Like, if I knew somebody and I showed up at their house and I had somebody else with me, I wouldn't be making I wouldn't be standing there while you make the introductions. I'd make the introductions because I know them. So that right there, that's stupid. Yeah, right. We're gonna believe that. Okay. Nicole stated by saying that she does not know Karen and had never met her prior to the 28th of January. She had met John O'Keefe once or twice out in a social setting. Nicole shared that she was aware that John had recently moved near her sister's home and only knew him as Kaylee's uncle. On the night of January the 28th, Nicole stated that she had met her sister Julie, daughter Tristan, and her boyfriend out at dinner approximately 7:30 at the Waterfall Bar and Grill. At approximately 9 p.m., Jen and Matt McCabe met the Nicole and Julie at the bar, and then at approximately 10 p.m., Brian came out after his return trip to New York City. New York City. That's paste picante sauce right there. New York City. At approximately 11 p.m., Nicole remembered that John and Karen came into the bar and were positioned on the opposite end of the high top table the group was occupying. So were they interviewing her at 11 p.m.? Because it says at approximately 11 p.m., Nicole remembered that John and Karen came into the bar. And I guess y'all must be the highfalutins if y'all are on the high tops, right? Is that what's so important about the high top tables? I guess y'all want everybody to know that y'all get the high top tables? Are the high top tables the best tables in the house or something? I don't like high top tables. I'm short. I like my feet to touch the ground. At 11 p.m., Nicole remembered. I like that statement. It's just way too weird. Okay. Nicole recalled John coming over once and asking if they wanted anything from the bar. Nicole stated that John was wearing jeans, sneakers, and a hat. Ah, damn it, he didn't have on a shirt again. I've seen that in another report, right? Jeans, sneakers, and a hat. Somebody should dress this young man. At approximately midnight, Nicole stated that she left the waterfall and was met at her home by her sister, Jen McCabe, brother-in-law, Matt McCabe, and husband, Brian. Nicole went on to say that all the guests left her home an hour later at approximately 1 a.m. on the 29th. Why bother inviting somebody to your house for half an hour or an hour? Later on during the morning hours of January 29th, 2022, Nicole stated that she was still in bed when her sister Jen came into the room and shared with Nicole what transpired outside and that John had been found deceased on the edge of the property by the street in the snow. And y'all just stayed sitting there, right? John was found deceased on the edge of her property by the street in the snow. Nicole stated that she had never left her home, and by the time she came downstairs, Canton Fire Department must have transported both John and Karen from the scene. You guys imagine that? Can you imagine anybody telling you that your friend or someone that was coming to your home for the party, someone that was in your house, is laying on the front lawn dead, and you don't just immediately throw some clothes on and run out front? I mean, that would be a normal reaction. That truly would be a normal reaction. You may have to be told to back up or get out of the way or leave the scene or not come close enough, but all this BS of them not going there, that's why. Why would a cop not go out and look? Because they have the answers and they don't want to be bothered. They don't want to be looked at. They want to act like they're like down low on the totem pole here. Okay, let's see. According to Nicole, there was no fights, arguments, or altercations at any time during the night between anyone present at the waterfall or her home on 34th Fairview Road in Canton. Nicole stated that everything was fine and she remembered John talking to her sister Jen at the bar. Nicole did not observe any injuries on John while he was present at the bar. Nicole shared that her and Brian walked out of the waterfall prior to John and Karen, and that the two were still at the bar at that time. When asked about the utility box at the edge of her property near the flagpole where John was found, Nicole stated that it had been open and slightly damaged for a long time prior to January 28, 2022. Directing her attention to her home following the waterfall, Nicole stated that she did not hear any arguments, noises coming from the outside of her house, and that neither John nor Karen came into the house at any point. Nicole went on to say that she was not even aware that her sister Jen had even invited John and Karen to the house following the waterfall. Without having any additional information to share with Trooper Proctor and me, we thank Nicole for her time and concluded the interview. That was fast. That was quick. She's fine right there. That's it. Nothing suspicious there. Nothing suspicious at all. Okay, hold on. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop here, and then I will be back with Michael Proctor's interview with Jennifer McKay. All right, folks, you'll let me know, because I don't know, but I do know one thing. I know that when I'm listening to stuff, I have a couple different routes I go. One is the earbud and my phone or my iPad that I'm listening on have to be near, because I got to see chat. I got to see what's happening on the screen. I got to, try to chat. I like chatting. It just goes so fast. I can't keep up with it. So, anyway, I've got a couple of memberships this week from people that have, which is really, really awesome, because I love a lot of different creators, but I can't afford to be members on everybody's channel. I'd get in trouble for that. My budget just doesn't support that kind of extra spending, I guess, whatever you call it. Anyway, I'm gonna end that, and I'm gonna go turn on some coffee. I always drink coffee this time of day. And then I'll be back with Jennifer. I'm just, so did they keep little notes in their pockets? Did they have anything tracking that they would be sure to get down something that was very, important in the investigation. They wore no body cams. They recorded no interviews. Best of my knowledge. I mean, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but makes you wonder what damn year when is Canton gonna come up? What was that song? Moving on up to the east side, something like that. Moving on up. Well, they need to move on up to the year 2024 at this point. 2022, they were pretty behind the times too. But with a police officer, with a police department like that, and the troopers the way they are, I can understand why they don't wear a body camera. Because none of them would have a job. They don't want to have to do the right thing, folks. So, I'll be back. Y'all have a good one.